How about a weekly update? Well, unfortunately, I still don't have my male corn snake. The shipping got put off again. If you remember me talking in the last video about the craziness with all the shipping with the corn snakes, I ended up getting my female, which I talked about in that last video, but I was expecting the male this week. And according to the weather conditions, he's going to have to be put off again another week. So unfortunately, I won't have an update with the corn snakes until I actually get him in. But stay tuned for that. This week we're going to talk about some ball python stuff. I have put 2 ball pythons together that are now of adult size and breeding weight. So I'm going to kind of explain to you about what that pairing is, what we hope to get from it, and I will update you if we actually get a lot. Okay everybody, I want to show you something really interesting with a male and a female ball python that we have. I just put them in here together. Right now, kind of what he's doing in a way is he's sort of, courting her a little bit. He's getting around her. He's getting close to her. He's kind of feeling the room, if you will. And it is actually going to storm today. That's one reason why I wanted to try them together, because the atmospheric pressure from a thunderstorm can also help stimulate breeding, if you didn't know that, with ball pythons. I've had another pair that we had lock a few times, and I would regularly try to pair them when I knew it was going to storm also. Another thing you can do is you can spray down your substrate and get it really damp in here where there's a lot of humidity compared to normal. That can stimulate breeding. Also, you can put the fresh shed of another male in here, and that will cause the male that you've actually put in with the female to believe that there's a rival male around, or a male that he's going to be in competition with when it comes to getting to mate with this female. Now, these are both first timers, so we may not get a lock at all. But this behavior right here is very, very good compared to the behavior that they've had before when I've tried to pair them when they were a little bit younger, weighed a little bit less. Now they both are definitely past the threshold of being healthy enough and old enough to breed. They're both a little over 2 years old, and they both weigh enough now. They weigh more than enough now. So that is a really, really good sign that they seem to be hanging out together in here, because normally when I would try to pair them together, they would sort of stay on the opposite end of the tub. So this is a really good sign. The fact that they're touching each other and kind of intertwined with each other is good. The fact that she had been wagging her tail earlier is really good. It's basically a sign that the female, there she goes again. It's a sign that the female is receptive to the male if he would like to mate with her. These ball pythons, the male is Sulien, as I've mentioned before. He is 746 grams. The female, Zahara, she is 1,540 grams. Both first timers. Obviously, it's not quote-unquote ball python breeding season right now, but since they are both where they need to be with weight, and there are a lot of people who do still breed year-round, I wanted to try them together to see what we could possibly get with them, if we could get a lock or not. And Zahara, she's a visual albino. She's really wagging her tail now. That's a really good sign. She's 100% Het Clown. And Sulien is also 100% Het Clown. And he is a Superfly. If you don't know what that is a super pastel fire combo. And so if we got any clown babies from them, there could possibly be like some pastel clowns in there, or maybe some fire. I think Firefly Clown was one of the combos that I had looked up that we could possibly get from them. But we're just hoping to get any clowns from this pairing if they decide to start locking. Because we have some different clown projects we would like to get into down the road. And to have a base set of clown offspring to work from would be really, really helpful. And so that's what we hope to get from them. And all of the babies would be 100% Het albino also. So if there are any babies that do not end up coming out with the clown gene at all, they will we're basically wanting to try and prove this 100% Het Clown thing out with both of them, because according to the breeders we got them from, according to the pairings of their parents, they should definitely both be 100% Het Clown. But you don't really know when you have two hets until you get babies. So if we do get some babies in the clutch that are clown, and we get some normals or some pastels or some fires that don't have any clown visually represented in them, at least we will know that those babies will be 100% Het albino, since Zahara is their mother, and they will carry the clown gene because both of their parents are Het Clown. So that is a really, really good thing. This is a good way to start a project, especially if you're wanting to get into recessives and you don't want to spend a ton of money. Zahara and Sulien were both bought as subadults, so they were not ready to breed yet. They were not of age, they didn't weigh enough, and we basically grew them up the rest of the way, really fed them well, and we kept track and we monitored their weight and their growth, and now they are of age and weight to breed. So sometimes if you go on Morph Market and you look for subadult ball pythons versus adult ball pythons, especially when it comes to females, you'll find that the prices for a lot of things will be a lot less. I got Zahara for between $700 and $800 at her subadult size of 606 grams, and Sulien at his subadult size of 484 grams. I got him for roughly around $400 when you include shipping. So it can benefit you if you don't want to start with babies, but you want to try and get some snakes that are a little bit older so that you may not have to wait 2 or 3 years to be able to start pairing. I would look at some subadults on Morph Market, because that could really help you out price wise, because you can get into some recessive stuff a lot cheaper than if you were to try and find a proven adult breeder female albino. That would run you a lot more money than getting a subadult that has never bred before. So that's something to keep in mind. You can obviously get the most out of your money if you do go with babies and grow them up, but if you really are anticipating getting started with your breeding, I would definitely go the subadult route. I would just, oh, she's really ready to go. So I'm going to leave these two alone, and I'm going to see what happens. You can leave the male and the female in there together for up to 3 days. And if you see a lock, great. You can put the male back in his enclosure when they're finished locking. If you do not see a lock, you can either give them a little break, feed them, and try again the next week, or you can just say, hey, let me try again next season. This is just not the right time. Maybe they need some more time. But usually, eventually, you will see some locks. And then obviously, you've got to wait for ovulation to happen after they lock a few times. And then you've got to actually wait for the pre-lay shed, and then for her to actually lay to get your eggs. So if that works out with these two, we will have an update on that as soon as we can. Okay guys, so I wanted to give you guys an update. They've been in here since, before 4 o'clock together. You saw that behavior from earlier in the video that I showed you, the tail wagging and how they seemed to really be comfortable with each other. And now what I want to show you is a confirmed lock between Sulien and Zahara. So what they're doing right now is they're actually breeding right now. And they will continue to stay locked like this until they decide to unlock from each other. And so we're going to leave them in here. I'm going to check in the morning, and if they have unlocked, I'm going to put him back in his enclosure. And we will leave them alone for the rest of the week until they feed again. And then 2 days after they feed, I will put them in here again. Today's Wednesday. So I would repeat the process. Or I have another option of trying to pair once or twice a month. Some people only pair once a month. Some people pair every week until they see an ovulation. We will just see how it goes. But I'm very, very excited because these two are first timers. They've never bred before. I've raised them from subadults when I got them. And the first couple of times I had ever tried to pair them, when they were a little bit younger, it never worked. And I'm just so excited that I finally have these two locking right now, because these two were intentionally bought together, as I said earlier. The fact that they're both 100% Het Clown. They hopefully will be the start of our clown projects in the future. And I'm just so excited that I was able to come back in here and show you guys an actual lock between the two of them. So we're going to let these guys be, finish their business, and in the morning, like I said, I'm going to check on them and probably put him back in there, as they will more than likely be done by the time I get up. But yeah,